and be able to do what needs to be done. All right. We should be able to do that. All right. And not be concerned about, everything else. No, because God has blessed us, to work on our physical frame so that it will not diminish. And Brother Rodney, you can go ahead and roll us on live. All right. Because we can't sit up there, and try to be an example to everybody else when we are having all of these physical ailments, physical problems that can be prevented. Because for some of us, we're just not willing, all right, to sit up there and do what needs to be done. A lot of us will just sit up there and say, well, I bind the hand of the spirit of skins. I bind the hand of the spirit of this. I bind the hand. Nah, man. Sometimes you got to look at it. It takes discipline. All right. It takes discipline. Just as I push myself away from the desk, guess what? You got to do the same exact thing. You got to do the same exact thing. Push yourself away from the ice cream. Push yourself away from the cake. Discipline yourself. Push yourself away from the crunchy cheese doodles. The Snickers, the Twizzlers, the Mars, the 100 Grands, the Almond Joys. All right, all of that stuff. Yeah, we love it. It's good. We like it. But guess what? It tears down our body. It tears down our body. And let me tell you something. It is okay for every once in a while, all right, to treat yourself. But don't treat yourself every single minute of every single day of every single hour. Nah, discipline yourself so that you will be able to. All right, because let me tell you something. For some of us that don't have the amount of energy that we really need, we always seem that we're tired. All right, well, guess what? You're not eating enough. You say, what? I'm not. No, listen, let me tell you something. All right, because there's some people that will only eat one time a day. Or if not that, two times a day. Guess what? You can't just eat one or two times a day and expect to have energy to last throughout the whole day. Uh-uh. You got to sit up there and eat small meals in small increments throughout the day. Even if you have a what is that? A nutrition bar. You have an apple, all right, or you have a small sandwich, and I do mean a small sandwich. All right, you have a bite size of this, bites that gives you energy throughout the whole day. All right. And even when you go at night, that'll help you to calm yourself down. All right. Because if you sit up there and eat after 4 o'clock, I believe I said it on a previous lesson, you don't give your body enough time, all right, to sit up there and to break down what you ate, unless you go to the gym or you go down to the boardwalk or something, or as Mother Shula and her sister used to do, you go walk around the mall, you do something like that, then yes, you will burn it off. But if you don't do anything like that, guess what? It's just going to turn into fat. You're going to have acid reflux. You're going to sit up there and wonder, why can't I do this? Or why is this happening? It's because you're sitting up there eating too late. And you're sitting up there eating a real big meal late at night. And that does not help you at all either. So sitting up there just eating one meal or two meals a day, that doesn't help you at all. But also on top of that, sitting up there and eating too much is going to do the same exact thing. So that's why you have to have a balance between the two. You have to have a balance between the two, because you do that, then you'll be able to have the energy that you need. Let me say this one other piece, because for some, you won't have the energy that you need, because when you do eat, all right, your stomach or your body will take what you eat and it will store it away, because it will look at it and say, well, you know what? I'm not sure when I'm going to get something else to eat. So let me store this away as fat or something else. Let me hold on to this, because, I'm not sure when my brain, is going to tell me and put something else in my stomach. So it's going to sit up there and just hold on to it. And to make matters worse, you'll sit up there and not have the energy, all right? And besides that, you won't have the metabolism. Your metabolism will end up slowing down. Why? Because of all of that, because you're not eating correctly, you're not eating enough. All right. So, in all of that, we got to realize and understand that, as we stated last week, if you don't use it, you will lose it. Let me continue going on, because the one point that we looked at last week and dealt with was muscle atrophy. All right, muscle atrophy. And I'll give you the definition until we get our brain going. And then we're going to jump into our questions, because muscle atrophy, also known as muscle wasting, is a condition that causes a progressive loss of muscle mass, strength, and power. It's often caused by a lack of physical activity, but can also be triggered by aging, malnutrition, medications, or injuries and diseases that affect the nervous system. All right. Also, it states that as people age, their bodies produce less of the proteins muscles need to grow, and hormones changes can impact, or hormonal change can impact muscle fibers. All right. So it's the same thing. If you don't use it, after a while, you will end up losing it. All right. And it's not only with the physical, because we taking the time out to vacillate between the physical and the spiritual. It's the same thing with the spirit. If you don't exercise your spirit, if you don't consistently, all right, and constantly stay connected to God, stay in prayer, guess what? You will end up being disconnected. You'll end up finding yourself farther away from God than you were before. That's why, as you exercise your physical body, you also have to exercise your spirit man. Because as you exercise your spirit man, you will get closer to God, and you will not lose what he has put on the inside of you, because we're coming from and dealing with Matthew chapter number 25. All right. I'll just read verse. You know what? I'll just read the verses. All right. Before we go into the questions, because Matthew chapter 25, verses 24 through 26 and verse 28, it states this: Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. All right, verse 25. And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast, that is thine. All right, verse 26. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I have not strawed. Dropping down to verse 28, take therefore the talent from him and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. Why did he take it from the one and give it to the other? Because the one that had 10, he originally only had 5, but he took that 5 and multiplied it and used it, all right, to create even more talents that he can in turn give to his master. So let me stop before I get too far afield with what's in this lesson for today, all right, because I'm going to need peoples to come up off of mute, those that are on YouTube or Facebook Live. I need you to answer this question for me. All right. Because the first question is this: Is it the pain of working or the work that makes it painful? Let me ask y'all again. I know it sounds a little strange, and I know the words may be a little play on words, but let me ask the question: Is it the pain of working or the work that makes it painful? Somebody come up off of mute. Answer that question, whether you're on YouTube, all right, or Facebook Live. Now, let me preface this. You better watch out how you answer, because just in case if your boss might see you. All right. So just wanted to put that out there. But someone come up off of mute and answer that question for me. And it's not only just work, but it's also ministry. All right. Come on. Let me hear what you got to say on the night.
Yeah, Bishop. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening, birthday, sir.
It's
Good
both.
evening. Good evening.
Good evening. It's both.
Ah,
Um,
Good
for
evening.
some, for some, it's not, and then for others, it is. For some, it's not painful, but then for others, it is painful. And and the purpose that if it was the same way for everybody either way, then you'd have imperfection.
mm,
At least when you have some that is willing to accept the pain, they can show the others that are afraid of the pain that the pain isn't so bad because the pain can be profitable if you're not afraid of the pain.
mm,
And then for the ones that it's painful for,
mm-hmm.
they can see that they're wasting away the gift that God gave them.
Ah,
They know that they have it,
mm-hmm.
but they're scared to use it because of criticism, um,
Mm-hmm.
inability to do it, not knowing how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a balance of those not afraid of the pain and some having fear of the pain so that
Mm-hmm.
so there can be some teaching and learning in God's
Mm-hmm.
kingdom.
All right. All right.
That's what I got.
Okay. Somebody else. Because we need some andouille sausage and some crawfish in this gumbo here on the night. And I know somebody got some okra. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Come on.
Bishop, can you read the question again? Because I can't see
Sure.
the whole question.
It's no problem. It's this. Is it the pain of working or the work that makes it painful? Mm-hmm. Is it the pain of working or the work that makes it painful?
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
don't like crawfish and I definitely don't like okra.
Yeah, I'm with you
So
too, Elder.
Well,
but I'm
bring
gonna
your
throw a little
potatoes in the stew.
andouille sausage in there.
All right. Well, bring your potatoes for the stew then. We'll do a stew tonight. We'll do a stew.
But I would probably um go along with Elder Geis. It can be both. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes for some, it's the pain of working because it depends on your mindset.
Mm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if your mind is not, again, the whole body has to work together. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have it in your mind that
Mm-hmm.
it is painful before you even do the work,
Yeah.
right? You still sitting
Yeah.
on the couch. You haven't done
Mm-hmm.
a thing. You haven't exercised a part, but just thinking about it is
Mm-hmm.
painful. So you don't know if the actual work is painful anyway because you didn't do the work,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So it's like, hello. So
Mm-hmm.
it depends on your mindset. And so
Mm-hmm.
even if you have the pain after
Mm-hmm.
working, we know that the pain is beneficial on the
Yep.
back end, but you're
Yep.
not going to know it's beneficial if you already
Mm-hmm.
have it in your mind that is
Mm-hmm.
painful because you're never going to do anything.
Yep. Yep. Because like you said, or you said it in a different way, where's your focus?
Right.
Where's your
Right.
focus with it? Or is your focus on the pain of the work, all right, or how painful the work will be? Or is your focus on, you know what? I got to get through this because I'm more focused on the end result.
Right. Right.
I'm more focused. And that's why we said the other, as a matter of fact, that's why we said this morning, some of us did not like, all right, the to say the pull, all right, that
Mm-hmm.
co-pastor put on a lot of us, all right, the requirements that she put on a lot of us, all right. But we look at it now and we thank God now for what she did back then. And like we said, some people that don't go to the tabernacle anymore that we may run into, they will say, they will openly admit, thank God for what co-pastor and overseer put us through back then, because I know I would not be where I am at now if it wasn't for them back then. Somebody
Yeah.
else, because I want to hear from y'all tonight.
Bishop,
I think it.
I want to throw a crab leg and a shrimp in there too. Just so that you know, you talked about much muscle atrophy and all of that kind of stuff. And we often talk about muscle memory, but we
Yeah.
can't even get any of that if we don't put
Yes.
in the work, right? And
Yes.
so we have to experience the pain of the work in order to reap the benefits and the rewards of the work. So
Mm-hmm.
um the pain of working should not be the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we only gain by working.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And even in, and like we've stated, and Mother Shula, I'm gonna let you come on in. And
Okay.
even like we stated before, if you're gonna sit up there and it's not giving anybody an out, but when we have our time of consecration and our time of fasting and praying,
Yes.
if you're going to sit up there and complain about the whole thing,
Right.
then guess what? Don't even bother doing it,
Mhm.
because you have the wrong mindset. You have the
Yes.
wrong temperament, and you really don't want to do it. So it's not going to be of any benefit because your whole being is not correct. Everything about you is not correct. You're not in a fasting mode. You're not in a spiritual building mode so that you would be fit for the master's use. But also, as we're alluding to, you're not in a mode to have your physical body, all right, in the best condition that it could be in. I don't want to take up all the time. I yield the rest of my time to Mother Schuler.
Thank you, Bishop. I think it plays a part with your where your heart is too.
Oh,
Mhm.
Because
oh,
if even if it's hard and difficult and other people look at it, oh, that's just too hard. That's just, but if your heart is fixed right, you don't care how hard it is because you want
Mhm.
to
mm,
do it, and you know
mm,
you already know what the results of it's going to be if you put the work in.
mm,
So if you don't have the heart, everything got to work together, the mind,
mm,
the heart, the
mm,
body,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then
mm,
when all of that's together, the task is not so bad.
mm.
Like
Come on.
like you said earlier, if you are with doing the month of consecration, you already started complaining about it, and
Yep.
well, then it's going to be hard for you. But if
Yeah.
your mind has said, you know, I want to see a change in this person. I want
Mm-hmm.
God to do this. I want you
Mm-hmm.
already like, okay, Lord, I'll do what I have to do. So
Yeah.
even though it's hard, your heart and your mind is set on it. You know what? I This is something I really want. Even with schoolwork or things, if we
Yeah.
really want it bad enough, even if it's
Yeah.
hard, we
Yeah.
put all our effort into it. So I
Yeah.
think it has something to do with what you want and where your heart is.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. Because Sister
Mhm.
K, she put on YouTube, if the muscle hasn't been used, then the work makes it painful, but it's part of the healing process, naturally and spiritually. She also went on to say physical therapy is work and painful, but necessary. She said, Apostle Paul states, I I buffet my body. We have to push past the pain. All right. Mm-mm. Yeah, I think she might have misspelled it. All right. But that's what was put online. All right. Someone else has something to say before I jump on to the next question or jump to the next question. All right. Because the next question is this: is it really hard work if we enjoy what we are doing? All right. Somebody come up off of mute and answer that question for me. Is it really hard work if we enjoy what we're doing.
It all
And
depends on
another,
the job and the person, because some people just make
mm-hmm,
things look easy because they do it with finesse. They just, they do it so good that they make it look easy, but it is
mm-hmm,
impossible for some people because of what their
mm,
mental state is. Like that was said earlier, not
mm,
everyone can do the best job because it all depends on, did you count yourself out already? Did you say you can't do it? Like, it really depends on what you come out your mouth with. You just
mm,
can't think a certain way because it's gonna get right in your spirit too. It's gonna seep
mm,
in there. So I'll
mm.
leave it like that and leave a little room for somebody else.
Well, you just added the little piece. You just added some vegetables to it. All right. Someone
Okay, I
else.
like
Yeah,
Someone else. Is it really hard work?
I think it all depends on who you are.
Okay.
Like for example,
Uh-oh.
if your name is Elijah Brown and you see a challenge, you start salivating and rolling your sleeves up. You get like getting ready to go, you get ready to go dive in there head first. So, there's like some people love challenges,
Yeah, yeah.
and some people are fearful of them. So it all depends
Mm.
on
Oh,
your balance.
oh,
Like
I like that. Yep.
if you like challenges, it's
yeah,
like bring
yeah.
on whatever, because I'm not going to let anything master me, said Paul.
Yep, 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 yep. I want to
In
jump
my
in on that.
almighty voice, let's rock. That's how some situations I had to look at seriously.
Mm, yes, yes. Someone else.
Yes, I can agree with Elder has said because hard work is. I mean, if you enjoy working, because I can go back as working in a hospital, even
Mm-hmm.
though it may have been a task. Even and the most thing I love was taking care of my elderly patients. Taking care of patients, cleaning them, bathing them. And you may be surprised. People say that's hard work. That's hard work. But to me, it wasn't hard work. It was a joy
Mm-hmm.
when I can do those patients and making them feel good, and then realizing I'm helping them. But to
Yes,
me,
Yeah,
baby.
it wasn't hard work. It was a
Yes,
joy. And
yes.
out of
Yes.
everything I missed out of work, and taking care of those patients, especially my elderly patients. I loved it.
yeah,
Even though I
yeah.
was tired, even though sometimes I feel pain, but because I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy what I was doing. So to me,
Yep.
it wasn't hard work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Someone else.
It
Yes, Bishop.
again
Oh, go
goes,
ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead,
go, Elder.
Elder. No,
It's okay.
you go, Elder. I'm going on you. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna be brief. It goes back to what I said. It's the mindset.
Yes,
It's how
Mm-hmm.
you enter into it because the work can be hard. Even using Elder Nickens' example, the work itself is hard because you said, is it really hard work? Hard work is hard work. It's how
yes,
you
Mm-hmm.
enter into the
yes,
work.
yes,
It's your mindset, your attitude when
Yeah.
you go into it. Just
Yeah.
because you enjoy something does not make the work not be hard. Because think about digging a ditch. It's
Yeah.
difficult digging a ditch, but if you like digging, the work is still hard. It's your
Especially if you know you're
mindset.
gonna throw somebody in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Mhm.
sorry. That wasn't supposed to come out.
Get out of my head.
I yield my
Sorry. Go
time.
ahead. Elder Smith.
Yes, I was saying your grace for the assignment, right? And like we're all talking about
Mm,
the work that's there. If it's something that you're graced to do, it may seem hard to everybody else, but there is such a grace for you to work through it that you don't even see it as hard work. You will be
hmm.
able to maintain it through all the pain, the struggles, the
Yeah.
frustrations. It will
Yeah.
cause you to come up above it. And like we're all talking about, it's the mindset. And I also believe, even in ministry, it's where you are supposed to be. Like each one of us have an
Hmm.
assignment on the earth where, like, I know I work with kids. I work with kids all day long. People say, how in the world can you work with fourth graders? I love it. I love the challenge. I am graced to be able to work with them. And even though it may seem hard, people may come in and
Hmm.
say, I don't know how you're able to handle 26 of these kids. It's the grace that's been on my life, the assignment to be able to do it. So I enjoy it, which allows me to even work through it when it's not enjoyable. I'm able to enjoy what I'm doing because my heart posture is there to do it. So I don't look at it as
Mm-hmm.
hard work. I look at it, this is what I'm called to do. And when I look at it as an assignment, all of that
Mm-hmm.
complaining, all of those negative thoughts, like our mindset lines up
Yes.
Yep.
because the work
Amen.
doesn't
Yep.
become hard. It's just what needs to be done. And then your grace
Yeah.
to do it, and that mindset is lifted and you enjoy what you're doing, even in like Elijah, like he said, not being afraid to jump into challenges. Each one of us have our own calling. We just have to know what it is that we must do, which will avoid us from having the complaining that is hard work.
Yes.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Someone else?
I just wanted to say something really short. God never gives you more than you can bear.
Oh.
So he
Go ahead.
always
Yeah.
gives you that sight that you could see something before you can turn it around to be
Yeah.
perfection.
That's
Amen.
good.
Amen.
That's good.
Yeah,
God
Bishop,
will
you know
give
what
you
we're
else
more
made
than
is,
for
you can
this
Bishop?
stuff.
bear.
We're made for it.
We welcome the
Ha.
pain. We welcome the pain. And
Yeah,
I'm just, that pain stretches us. That pain strengthens us.
we're
So we
made.
don't
Mm-hmm.
look at it as pain. Like
Yep.
it's just a, it's
Yeah.
a challenge. It is something for us to overcome, to learn more about ourselves. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
we, like you
Yeah.
said, built tough all the way around. Greater is he
Yep.
that is in us than he that is in the world. Like we got
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And
Bishop
someone
Ralph
else?
Dennis. I don't know if I Bishop probably know Bishop Ralph Dennis, but his like Bishop got his saying. His saying is God has given you the grace for every assignment.
Mm. I was watching him today. They had their convocation the past couple
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
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 I was watching it. I saw Sharice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He
They
gives you
had
the
Bishop
grace.
S.Y. Younger last night. That's besides the point. I Jesus. All right. Someone else? Someone else? Because the reason why I say I was because I'll jump in for a minute so to give somebody else like for me I get really antsy when I have to do a party. All right, I have to cater for a party the next day, especially if it's for like 100, 150, 200 people or whatever. I get very antsy. And sometimes, depending on what the menu is, I'll have a hard time sleeping because I'm sitting up there timing out what I have to do. All right, the next day, because I mean, I'm just sitting up there like, okay, all right, I got to put this in here, got to put that in there. I got to grill this, I got to grill that, I got to cook this, I got to saute that, but I also got to put this on. Then this all has to be ready by 4 o'clock. But I have to make sure that this is put in at 1 o'clock because it's going to take about 2 hours, to cook this. So I'm sitting up there, cooking everything in my head, but also looking at how much oven space I have, but also thinking about how much burner space that I have. And then besides that, looking at what I'm able to prepare beforehand. So when I get into the kitchen, I am just like amped because why? Because I have a whole lot of cooking I got to do, and I'm just ready to jump on in and do everything that needs to be done. But I got to pace myself and I got to sit up there and make sure everything is strategically, all right, cooked at the appointed time so that when it comes out, it's coming out at the time that it's supposed to come out. It doesn't come out too late, it doesn't come out too soon. But I got to sit up there and time everything out. So I condition my mind as it was already stated, because it won't be a hardship. It won't be hard. Even though some people will be like, hold up, you cooked ribs, beef and pork, you made macaroni and cheese, you made sauteed string beans, you made corn on the cob, you made baked beans, you made grilled sausage, you did all of that this morning. And I'm like, yes, I did all of that this morning. I did not sit up there and pre-cook anything. I don't like doing that. I did all of it that morning. All right. Why? Because I made sure I timed everything out because I wanted everything to be fresh. And even if I had to go in early to get a head start, listen, I was going to go in early to get a head start so that I can make sure everything was fresh, everything is up to par, everybody. And then once everybody sits down, I'll sit there and I'll listen for the one moment when everybody is either eating or finished eating, and there is a moment of silence. And when I hear that moment of silence, I know that everybody is satisfied. I know that everybody is satisfied because it's too good for anybody to be sitting up there talking. And those who already ate, they're sitting up there thinking about, all right, and salivating over what they already ate. But besides that, they're thinking about, what am I going to go back up there and get the second or the third time? What am I going to go get now? Now, with that, somebody else has something that they want to say, something that they want to add that came to them. Because I would also say it also comes down to, me with construction, stuff like that. I can do that all day, every day. I really can. Why? Because it's something that I love to do. So it's not hard work for me, even though, as it's already been stated, it is hard work, it is strenuous, but there is a joy to it. As Jesus, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. So, yes, it was hard to not sit up there and call down legions of angels and have them to come and just wipe everybody out, or just call one angel and have it wipe everybody out. Because I saw this thing that the other day, I was watching it on YouTube. They said the one time when, it's almost to say, there's like the one time when heaven was quiet, all right, to a certain degree. It was like when Jesus was on the cross. Everybody was ready with their swords and everything to come down and to save him. But he knew that if he called them down, that we would be lost. So he was basically telling them, listen, y'all stay up there. Y'all stay. I got this one. I got this one, as it was already stated. I was graced for this. I was built for this. I was built tough for this. So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to use what I have, because if I don't use what I have, I will end up losing it. I will end up losing it. And it's not only muscle atrophy, but you also got to think about your mind. If you don't use your mind, if you don't exercise your mind, if you just sit by idle all the time, listen, your brain will start to not function as well as it used to. That's why you got to. You can't just sit there behind the TV or sit there on your phone playing games. All that stuff, yes, is okay because it keeps it active, but you got to exercise your mind. You got to exercise your mind just as you exercise your body. Because, like we said, if you don't use it, you'll end up losing it. Or let me flip it another way and rub it down. If you don't use it, you'll replace it with something else. And whatever else you replace it with might end up being detrimental to your spiritual health. Because it has the potential to pull you away from the things of God, especially if you're not replacing it with something that God has commanded you to do to build up your spirit. Because the second and final point that we jumping on tonight is this: it's more than enough, because it will work if you work it. Let me tell you all that again. It is more than enough, because it will work if we work it. Why would you say that? Because sometimes we look at a glass as being half empty. When others will sit up there and look at the glass as being half full. All right, I'll say it again since you told me to say it. Most of us, or some of us, will sit up there and look at the glass as being half empty. And others will sit up there and look at the glass as being half full. All right. Some of us will sit up there and say, well, you know what? I'm thinking about doing what needs to be done so that I can get into shape, so that I can get my body right and this, that, and the other. But others is like, nah, I ain't thinking about it. I'm going and being about it. I'm just thinking about sitting up there, getting my mind and my spirit right. All right. So that God can really use me and really go forth in ministry. I can be a living example. All right. To others. And not, you ain't thinking about that thing. No, you moving on that thing. You sit up there saying, you know what? I'm going to sit up there and be the type of leader. I'm going to sit up there and be the type of person that will be able to take a cut, will be able to take correction, and we will still be able to get back up, get back in the fight. We may have to lick our wounds or whatever it is, but guess what? We're going to get right back in the fight again, and we're going to do what needs to be done. Why? Because we were built for this. We were built to take the cut. We were built to take the correction. And I always find it interesting how we can always take the praise. We can always take the adulation, but we can't take the cut. Even as a leader in the house of God, I can tell you right now that you can show me how good of a leader you are by how deep of a cut you can take. You can show me how good of a leader you are by how deep of a cut you can take. Because those who are good leaders, listen, you can take a deep cut. You can take a good whooping and you'll get right back up. You'll be like, ouch, thank you. I needed that correction, but let me get right back in the fight. I'm not going to sit up there and do whatever. I'm not going to sit up there and say, oh, my time for ministry, my time at this place is up now. It's not, that ain't going to happen. No, as a saint of God, you want to sit up there and say, you know what? I needed that correction. Why? That correction was there to correct me, to put me back on the right path so that I can do what needs to be done, because she's trying to pull of me what they see in me, because what they see in me, they don't want it to die, because God placed it in me to use for ministry. And if I don't use it in ministry, God will end up, let me tell you, let me warn you, God will end up finding another ram in the bush. There will be another ram in the bush. All right, because he wants to see you as Abraham and Isaac. How far are you willing to take it? How far are you willing to go? Abraham went all the way up to the top. And even before they went up the mountain, he said, me and my son are going up and we will return. So he already had faith, knowing that they were going to come back. He just spoke it into existence. And I even believe that even if it went the other way, some type of miraculous way, God would have raised his son. God would have raised Isaac up in some kind of miraculous way. But for some of us, we're not even willing. And we know that God has called us. We know that God wants to do great things in us and through us, but we're not willing to put in the work. We're not even willing to work with what we have. Let me tell you something. Don't be one of those that look at whatever it is and say, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with that? How am I going to work with this? Nah, you do that, you just like like we talked about. You are the servant with the one talent. You just took it. He was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to make this two. So guess what? I'm going to go and bury it. You think that's what God wants you to do? No, that's not what God wants you to do. He wants you to take that one and make it two. He wants you to have and take that two and make it four. He wants that four and take that four and make it eight. He wants that eight and make it 16. He wants that 16 to be turned into 32. He wants that 32 to be turned into 64. He don't want you to sit up there. That's why, see, that's why we have, as some, we have an issue sometimes when we deal with a person that is a visionary, because they don't see out right now. All right. And especially a pastor that is a visionary. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's hard for ministry, all right, to line up with them because they're seeing stuff in the future. All right. And what's end up happening is, Lord, I see the stuff in the future, but how are we going to get from our present to the future? And God is like, that's up to me. But then what makes it bad is when you have leaders that won't sit up there and help bring the future into the present. When they know they have the wherewithal, they know they have the gifts, they know that they have the talents, but they can use for ministry, all right? But they will not do what needs to be done to help the ministry because they are set, settled, and satisfied because they don't like change. And they want everything to stay the same. They want everything to be the status quo. And listen, the status quo is not good enough any longer. Not now, not ever. We have to always be changing. We have to listen. I said it last week and I'll say it again. We can't sit up there, as overseer would say, we can't sit up there in a streaming age, expect to use an 8-track player, expect to use a 33 or a 45, or to use a CD or a cassette. We can't, my God, we can't expect to use that now, even though some are going back and having these retro moments, because you can go to Guitar Center and get a record, and because some people are listening to records now, but in actuality, no. Because we are in a new age, we are in a new era, we're in a new moment now, and that type of stuff will not work. So if it won't work out there, how do you expect it to work inside here? Let me even go on, because some of us do not realize or don't want to realize that each of us have talents, we have gifts, we have ideas, and it will become reality or it will multiply if we just take the time to use it. If we just take the time. And for some of us, we are not willing to take the time, because we see the hard work as hard work. We don't see the benefit of hard work. We don't see the benefit of hard work. We just see it as hard work. And the Lord is like, no, it's not just hard work. It's a joy. Like I already stated, for the joy, he endured the cross. He knew what he was going to go. He knew that he was going to get nails in his hands, nails in his feet. He knew he was going to get punched in the face. He knew that he was going to get 40 lashes, 39 lashes on the chest, 39 lashes on the front of the legs, 39 lashes on the back, 39 lashes on the back of it. He knew he was going to get a spear in the side. It was the joy that was before him. He endured the cross. And he knew on top of that, that the cross was not going to be sanded down nice and smooth. No, that cross was going to be rough. It was going to be rigid. It was going to have splinters and spikes sticking out of it. So when the cross chopped down in the hole, the spikes and the wood went into his back. So he had splinters in his skin. Besides that, you also have to imagine that that wood was not clean. So that wood had dirt and all that other stuff on it. So all that dirt, and those little bugs, the insects, all that was going into his skin, into his, because it whipped the flesh off of him and exposed. But for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame. He endured. So let me tell you this. We must be willing to put in the work. We have to be willing to put in the work. Like we stated earlier, even when it comes down to our body, we must be willing to put in the work. Like I stated before, even in the off season, you got to put in the work. Even in the regular season, you got to put in the work. Even when you don't feel like it, guess what? You got to go put in the work. Even when you don't want to go to the gym, guess what? You got to go to the gym and put in the work. Even when the Lord wakes you up at 12:30 and you just went to sleep at 12, guess what? It's time to go put in the work. It's time to go put in the work. Do your spiritual sit-ups. It's time to go to work, because it will only work if you work it. If you do not work it, it will not be worked. It will not grow. It will not expand. It will not strive. God, listen, like we stated last week, the the rubber band, it only is able to hold more because it is stretched. It is stretched out. It is stretched out in different directions. And instead of just not only being stretched out, but it's being held at that size. All right. So then, even when the person lets it go, guess what? It never goes back to the original size because why? It was stretched out. Some of us are not willing to be stretched. Some of us don't want to be stretched. Some of us just want to sit back and enjoy the status quo. And God is like, nah, with what's going on, with what's about to happen, we got to put in that work. We have to put in that work. We cannot expect things, all right, in our life to be, even like we said, our physical. We can't expect, all right, weight to just shed off. We can't expect muscle to be built up. We can't expect our waist to go in. We can't expect our shoulders to go broad. We can't expect, our waistline to come. Nah. Now, if you want to go ahead and put on all those undergarments and stuff like that, then go ahead, be my guest. But guess what? After a while, you still gonna have to go and get some new undergarments because you're not putting in that extra work. Because we think that we're going to be able to go back down to a size 16 when we a size 26. Let me tell you something. That ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. That ain't going to happen unless you put in the work. You want it, listen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. You want to be able to call down fire? Then guess what? You got to sit up there and put in the work. You want God to know your name and you to know God's name? Guess what? You got to put in that work. You got to put in that work. I'm telling you, you got to put in that work. Because what you have in front of you, let me go this way. What's really a shame is when somebody takes what you have and they will sit up there and make a masterpiece out of what you called a mess. You called it a mess. Yeah, be fruitful and multiply and replenish. Replenish what was already plenished. You call it a mess, but others call it a masterpiece. Because they're looking at what it can be. All right, what it has the possibility to be. That's why you have, like they say, you have the sculpture of David. All right, and listen, he didn't just see the rock sitting there. No, he saw the sculpture. So all he had to do was take away the pieces that he knew was not there. That's how, like people say, look at me and what with the stuff, that I see. I'm like, listen, I'm just taking away what's not there. I'm just adding what needs to be there. Why? Because I see what I need to see, but some can't see what I see because they're just like, I see it as a mess. Or if not that, they just throw it out. And it's like, no, my God, you want God to increase? You want to have more than enough? Then take what you have. Listen, I don't know whether or not she's still on, but Sister Letitia, Elder Letitia Porter, she might still be on Facebook Live. She's a seamstress. And you could just hold up like a piece of fabric and she'll see a dress out of that piece of fabric that other people will not see. They'll be like, how did you put that together? Did you see that? Guess what? That's because she knows that's what her eye is trained for. Others will not look at it in that type of way. And let me tell you this, as you work it, as you use it, guess what? God will give you even more. Because as I told y'all before, one thing from co-pastor that I'll continue to repeat to us, she taught me, you show God how you appreciate what he has blessed you with by how you take care of it. And as you take care of it, as you, let me put it this way, as you renovate it, as you upgrade it, as you do what needs to be done to it, guess what? It will become even more, and he will give you more because you're taking and using what he has given you, what he has blessed you with. But if you don't sit up there and use it, if you don't sit up there and make the best of it, all right, if you don't sit up there and work with what you have or work with what it is, then guess what? He's not going to pour more because you're not doing anything with what you have. You just sitting up there just letting it be. And no, that's why I tell you this. I, I put together crazy combinations according to some people. All right. Especially when it comes to my shirt and tie and my suit and stuff like that. I just put together crazy combinations. And I say that because, the queen, she's sitting right there in all her beautifulness. All right. Making up my own word. All right. In all her beautifulness. I'll sit up there and put the tie together with the shirt. And she'd be like, oh, my Lord. I can't see that. Even the same thing with mommy, mom Janet. She'll do the same thing. She'd be like, that's too much for me. But then once I put the whole thing together, oh, I can see it now. I can see it now. But it took for the whole thing to be put together in order for you to see it. But for those who have a creative mind to a certain degree, you could see it before it's even put together. Why? Because you see it in your mind. Because you're working with what you have and you're working at it. And so as you work at it, you actually train your mind to be able to see what others cannot see. And you'll believe what others don't believe. And you will end up encouraging them. All right? Because all we must do is value what we have and take whatever it is and use it to the best of our ability. And God will make the rest. But if we don't even try, how will we know? How will we know? How will we know if we don't even try? Because as we stated earlier, the lesson is dealing with fit for the master's use. Use it or lose it. Let me put this last little piece in there. Because some of us don't want to move with our bodies. We don't want to exercise. We just want to eat whatever we want to eat. Even in ministry, we just want to sit back Sunday after Sunday. All right, Wednesday after Wednesday, get fat off of the word of God, get fat off of the pork skins, get fat off of the cheesecake. All right, all that stuff. But let me tell you this, stagnation and mediocrity breeds contamination and pollution because of lack of movement and or use. If that contamination, pollution, bacteria is not filtered out, it will or can kill everything around it. Let me say that again. Stagnation, not only in the physical body, but also in the spirit. Hear me and hear me well. Stagnation and mediocrity breeds contamination and pollution because of lack of movement and or use. That's how you have a pond that has pond scum on it, because the pond is just sitting still. There is no movement. And as that pond or as that lake moves, because there is rocks and there's other vegetation growing in it that filters out, all right, all of the pollutants, all of the bacteria. But if that pond just stays still and does absolutely nothing, then guess what? The pollution, the bacteria will grow and the contaminants will grow. And so let me finish with the last piece of that statement. If that contamination, pollution, bacteria is not filtered out, it will or can kill everything around it. And it's not only everything that's in the pond, but even the vegetation that is dependent upon the water in the pond will end up dying too. You'll end up seeing death all around it. And you wonder why, with some of us, there is death all around us. Why, even in ministry, all right, some of us are not doing what needs to be done. Why? Because we have become mediocre. We have become mediocre. And we have become stagnant. We have become complacent, not only in that area, but also with our physical man. But I tell you this, once you start seeing results, you'll be hooked. You'll be hooked and you'll be ready to move. And you'll be sitting up there saying, what? Nah, let me get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because the Lord's calling me. Let me get up at 5 o'clock. Why? Because it's time to go to the gym. I'm going to go hit the gym before I go to work. All right. And I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to do what needs to be done. Why? Because I want to get my body right. I want to get my mind right. I want to get my spirit right. And then sometimes it'll get to the place where we sitting up there waiting for the Lord to wake us up. We can't sleep because we waiting. We got a secret rendezvous with God at a certain time during the night. And we sitting up there like, Lord, you going to call me yet? All right. You going to call me yet? You gonna call me yet? Why? Because we are anticipating our time with God. But let me ask you, are you anticipating your time with God? Or are you just wanting to sit back? So, in all of that, use it or lose it. That's all I got for you tonight. And I have just asked, is there any comments or something that somebody want to add before we close this one out? All right. I'll take the silence as a no. Well, y'all already know what time it is. My name is Bishop Lamont Brown. I'm the pastor of Faith Baptist Tabernacle here in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where we are evangelizing to the family while building disciples. Just want to remind you this one thing. It's already done. Just got to catch up to it.